Hiya. Today I wanted to talk about eating mindfully or eating more slowly and being much more aware of the food that you're eating. I mean, a lot of us, we're such a busy society. Most of us are incredibly busy that, we'll often rush our meals or we'll skip a meal because we just don't have time. And you'll sit at your desk and you'll just gobble down a sandwich while you're in the middle of something. So you're not eating mindfully. You're distracted while you're eating because you're doing something else. And this can make your whole meal times more stressful. You can be stressed because you're busy working, and then you're stressed because you've got to take time away from your work to eat, or you'll skip your meal and then you're stressed because you've skipped the meal. So it just becomes a much more stressful situation. And even if you do take time to eat something quickly at your desk while you're stressed over the presentation that you have to have done in half an hour, the meal will be over too soon, and you might feel much less satisfied. And because of that, you'll probably feel hunger much sooner than you would do otherwise. And then at the next meal that you have, because you're less satisfied and probably a little bit hungry from the previous meal, you might overcompensate at the next meal because you're just not so satisfied with your food. So why should you eat slowly? What are the benefits of eating slowly? You'll lose weight, your digestion will be better, it'll be less stressful, and you'll enjoy your food more and have greater satisfaction. In terms of losing weight, the University of Rhode Island did two studies on relative speeds of eating, and they found that slow eaters got through about 56 grams of food a minute, medium eaters got through 71 grams of food a minute, and fast eaters got through 87 grams of food a minute. Now, that doesn't necessarily sound like a huge amount of food, but when you add it up over 20 minutes, then a slow eater could get through 1.1 kilograms of food, a medium eater could get through 1.4 kilograms of food, and a fast eater could potentially get through 1.7 kilograms of food. Now, all of a sudden, that's starting to sound like an awful lot of food, and that's just in 20 minutes, remember. Now, if you ate 3 meals a day, then your fast eaters are getting through 600 grams of food extra a meal. So that's nearly 1.8 kilograms of food extra a day over the slow eaters. And that's just over one day, then added up over a week and over a month and over a year. And all of a sudden you can see how eating fast can make you overeat so much more than somebody who eats slowly. The second one they did was they had some obese women actually, and they did two separate studies on them. So the first time they they sat them down and they said, you've got this lovely pasta a dish here with Parmesan cheese, and you can have a glass of water. Eat to the point of fullness as quickly as you possibly can. And then the second time they visited, it was the same meal, and they said, eat to the point of fullness, but slowly, and put your utensils down between each mouthful. And this is what they found. They found that after visit one, the people ate an average of 646 calories in just 9 minutes. Whereas on the second visit, they ate 579 calories in 29 minutes. So they ate 67 calories less and took 20 minutes more. I should have said 20, sorry. Took 20 minutes more to eat less food. Sounds a bit backwards, but that's the truth. And if you add that up over a course of a day, so let's assume somebody had 3 meals a day, that's 200 calories more a day, which equates to about 1,400 calories more a week. And over a month, that adds up to 6,000 odd calories more, or a weight gain of about 1.7 kilograms. So that's heading for over 12 kilograms of weight gain a year just because you ate quickly. So if you want to lose weight, slow down. You don't necessarily have to do anything else to change your life at all, but if you just slow down and take at least 20 minutes over your meals, potentially you could lose a significant amount of weight. Another reason to slow down is because your digestion works better. Now, you've probably all heard that it takes 20 minutes for your brain to catch up with the fact that you've eaten food and you're now full. Well, that seems to be true. From that study that they did in the Rhode Island, it does appear to be true. when they ate slowly, it took them 20 minutes extra to become full. In addition to that, in terms of your actual digestion actually does begin in the mouth. So your saliva starts breaking things down, and that's what prepares your stomach and your digestive tract for the incoming food. So if you just gobble it all down, your saliva doesn't have time to, release the enzymes that prepare the rest of your digestive system for what's about to hit it. So it really does benefit your digestion. Of course, it's less stressful. You can sit down and you can relax. You can clear your head. If you do have a sandwich for lunch, instead of sitting at your desk, go and take it outside if you can, or even just to the kitchen. Get away from your desk and just take that space and clear your head. Read the paper, look at your phone. It doesn't really matter. But take that extra time and get away from the stressful situation that you're in and take time to eat your food. And you'll enjoy your food much more. If you go and get a work colleague, go outside and have your lunch with a work colleague, or sit in the kitchen and chat to somebody, whatever it is, you'll actually enjoy your food much more if you eat it slowly. So how do you eat slowly? Well, you can put your utensils down between each bite, chew each mouthful thoroughly. And actually, this is why drinking your calories is not such an ideal option. This is why I tend to steer clear of smoothies. I really don't, much as I love smoothies, they're delicious. I tend not to have smoothies very often because I always find they leave me hungry. Because when you drink your calories, essentially it's almost like it's pre-digested, and your digestive system doesn't really get the same signals. Like I say, because it's chewing that stimulates the generation of saliva, which essentially prepares your digestive system for food. You don't tend to get that same response when you drink your calories, like in a smoothie. So again, your digestive system doesn't really sort of recognize that you're actually eating. So your smoothie kind of passes through you without touching the sides, if you see what I mean. So I just tend to steer away from smoothies, much as I like them, I tend to steer clear of them, because I find that I get very hungry very quickly after drinking a smoothie because I haven't chewed it. Okay, just pay attention to the texture of the foods and the tastes of the food. If you make your food brightly coloured, enjoy the sight and the colours in your food. A great way to teach kids actually about food and healthy foods is to teach them to eat the rainbow. But that doesn't necessarily just have to apply to kids. There's no reason you can't eat the rainbow. If you make your food brightly coloured and beautiful, then you're more likely to take time to enjoy it. This is probably why I go out for my beautiful breakfasts. Oh, magic. A beautiful breakfast has appeared. Yeah, this is why I love going out for breakfast, because some of the breakfasts I have, they just look amazing, and I enjoy the sight of them. Breakfast is my happy space. I make food no matter how busy I am. I make time for breakfast because it's my happy space. I enjoy it. I love being out at a cafe. I love, being in an environment that's relaxing and sort of fun, and there's a good vibe, so I can enjoy the food. If you find that at work that you don't have time to eat at work, this is what I do when I'm on competition preparation, or anytime I start a new job. I literally block book my meal times in my calendar. So that's 9 to 9:15, 12 to 12:30, and 3 to 3:15. It's not because I need to know when to eat. It's basically to train my colleagues that that's exactly what I'm doing. Because, like I say, health is my number one value, absolutely non-negotiable. I prioritize my food, my eating above all else, because that's what makes me work well. Okay? And that includes scheduling my time in my calendar, block booking my calendar, and training everybody around me. And trust me, once you do it, they might sort of kick up a stink. They might just go, "What are you doing that for?" They'll soon get used to it. They'll adapt very, very quickly. So this is how I create time to eat. Okay, be Mediterranean. The French and the Italians, they've got it right. In fact, the Italians started this slow food movement I think it was in 1989, because it was a group of activists, and they felt that with our busy go rush society that we have now, they felt that their traditional culture was being lost, and so they wanted to bring back the traditional ways of sitting down for a big afternoon meal with your families and the grandmas and the kids and everybody around the table, enjoying the food and taking their time over it. And actually, I used to go out with a guy who was half Italian, and we went to this beautiful little village in Italy called Spello, near Assisi. And we sat down, they had a big extended family, and we sat down for a proper Italian meal. And it was just spectacular. The food was very simple, very rustic, very traditional Italian. The whole meal must have taken about 4 hours, and we had sort of 7 courses. And I was absolutely stuffed at the end of it, just with these 7 courses. But they were all little tiny dishes, probably about the size of that picture of that tomato on a piece of bread. So none of the dishes were big, but after 4 hours, I was absolutely stuffed. But it was such an amazing experience, because we were, there was a big family, there's lots of chatter and stuff like that, and it was wonderful. So be Mediterranean if you possibly can. Make time with your family at the weekends to have a slow meal and enjoy a family meal, and and take time to appreciate it. And then another thing is, take time to appreciate that you actually have food. So many people in the world do not even have a meal. So think about that next time you're just rushing through a meal. Just stop and think about that for a second. You actually have some food. There are many people who don't. Okay? So how do you identify whether you're a slow, medium, or fast eater? Well, of course, I have a journal. So what I have here, and again, drop me a line if you want to get a copy of this journal, is a meal duration journal. So if you create one of these, you'll be able to identify whether you are a slow, a medium, or a fast eater. Remember from that study, a fast eater will probably eat their meal in about under 10 minutes. A medium eater will probably take about 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and a slow eater will take anywhere over 20 minutes, okay? So all you do is you only need to do it for a day or so, 1 or 2 days. What time did you start eating? What did you eat? And what time did you stop eating? Very, very simple. And that will tell you what sort of eater you are. And then if you find out that you are a fast eater, then I've already suggested ways in which you can slow down. So work on slowing down your meal, and then start noticing if it means that you're eating more or less. If you do this journal, then it will really help you learn to eat much more mindfully rather than mindlessly. And by doing that, you might not have to change anything else in your lifestyle at all, but you still have the potential to lose weight just by slowing down. Now, if that's not a win-win situation, I don't know what is.